I should have maybe cleared off my desk a little before starting the live, but there you have it. Trying out a different time. Usually I go live at like 9 p.m. in the evening. But today I wanted to snip these book covers, and I don't think it's interesting enough to put in a video, but we will do it together live and maybe talk about books as I set up and catch up in my reading journal. Not so much setting up. I don't think I'm ready to set up for February yet, but catching up for sure. I debated whether to keep doing book covers in my journal, because it does take time to find them and print them all out. But then I just like having these little pieces of paper. They're just so cute. So we are snipping some of these book covers. Some of these are books that I've finished that I need to catch up in my journal, and then most of them are either on my holds list or on my TBR, or some books that I know I want to keep reading, hopefully. Hopefully we'll be continuing with the Throne of Glass series. But it's kind of fun. I went through the book covers I've already printed, and there are some that are like in the so-called like graveyard, because I had them at hold or even borrowed at one point, but I didn't ever read them, or I didn't, what's the word? Like, I borrowed them, but then I didn't get around to them. These are all books I haven't, they're all on my TBR, so maybe I won't cut that up yet, but I will cut up some of these. Just finished Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies, which was so delightful. I'm still grinning about it. I had borrowed it at the end of last year, and then I didn't get around to it, and then I put it back on hold. And I'm so glad I actually did read it, because once I actually started it, it was just really sweet. I loved the writing and the banter between the two main characters. I'm reading the second book now, and I'm enjoying it. I think I'm going to finish for sure, but it's not like the utter delight of the first book, and just first being introduced to this world and the characters was so special in the first book. So I'm excited to, I put too much pressure on myself though. Like, I'm excited to journal about it, but at the same time I'm nervous, because I remember last time I was really excited to journal about a book I loved. I did not like the way the spread turned out. So we'll see. And then over here I have in my little plastic baggies, like little sleeves for photo cards actually. TBR means I haven't checked it out yet, or it's not even on hold yet, but I just printed a couple book covers from massive list of books someone somewhere at some point has recommended me, or I saw somewhere that I thought might look remotely interesting. And then holds are books I obviously have already put on hold, and then loans are books that I've like currently checked out or recently checked out, that probably will be getting to soon. So these are actually books I'm reading or read. And then Ruthless Vows. Did I check this out? I think I remember getting off the holds list, but I don't think I think I said deliver later. Yeah, I haven't. So this will be upcoming soon. Holds. And some of these books are recommendations from you guys, from subscribers or followers when I ask for recommendations, so I appreciate that. Just check this one out, actually, Caraval. I don't know. We'll have to see. I read Once Upon a Broken Heart. Was it a trilogy? Yeah. And I don't think I really jived. Like the writing style is very interesting. It's very vibesy, like very much fairy tale vibes, but I don't know. It was a little hard to get used to the writing style, but I'm curious because I know some people liked Caraval and some people didn't like it. So we'll give it a try. She Who Became the Sun, I'm looking forward to reading. It's going to be probably my first buddy read with my friend Sarah, who's also doing her own book journal on Instagram. And when I saw she had started on, I was like, oh, wait, you read a lot too? Would you be interested in reading a book together? And she was also excited about that. So that's really good. I'll keep these as a set. I don't need to cut them up now because it's going to be a while before I get off the hold for the rest of these books. Have you read Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas? I read all of ACOTAR, and then I read ACOTAR, even though after the first book I was like, what? Why? I was not a fan, really. But at the same time, and then I kept reading it anyway. But I actually really enjoyed Throne of Glass. I think I liked it a lot more than, I don't know if a lot more, but I just enjoyed, I liked the main character a lot more than Feyre in ACOTAR. So ACOTAR. And another new thing for reading for me this year, besides my goals of like reading more nonfiction and reading more in Korean. Oh, hi, Kate. This looks cute, right? Aren't these little book covers so cute? I was just saying before, like, it's a bit of work to like find them all, put them in Canva and print them. I am starting to print them on this expensive sticker paper, but so hopefully that'll be less work when I'm actually using them in my journals. But I just like having these little cute book covers. So anyway, what was I saying? Oh, another new development hopefully this year will be reading more graphic novels. So this one, Relish, was a comic my friend recommended to me. My Life in the Kitchen by Lizzie Nisley. And I'm excited to read this. I'm hoping it inspires me to like embrace cooking more and food more. I mean, I love food. I'm just not a good cook. And then this is the newest book from Courtney Milan, The Marquis Who Mustn't, actually. I thought it was mustn't, but there's a T. There's two T's in there. It's the second in a series. It's Regency romance, but the characters are like Chinese or of Chinese origin, which when I first saw the cover, I was like, what is this? But I wish they had chosen better cover art. Like the trend these days for romance books and even Regency romance is to have like cute, like illustrated covers. And I wish they had done that for those books, but I quite actually enjoyed the first book. And I think it's important to have representation, obviously, more representation in literature. So just because it's a Regency romance doesn't mean it has to only be set in England with like a non-diverse set of characters. Although, I mean, that is sometimes the world you want to be immersed in, but there's also other stories that can be told. I haven't finished the Throne of Glass series, but finished ACOTAR, currently waiting on the next Crescent City. But oh, okay, you're a Sarah J. Maas fan. I I also just snipped a Crescent City. I'm on the wait list for this as well. I just put myself on the wait list because I figured in case I do like it and want to read the third book, I will, yeah, it's going to be a long wait at the library for them. So I put myself on the wait list for this as well. I've read some like blogs or posts saying that they recommend if you're starting out with Sarah J. Maas to read ACOTAR, then Throne of Glass, and then Crescent City. So that's kind of what I'm doing, but it's going to take me a while to get through the Throne of Glass series since there's a lot of books and they're very popular. So, and I try to just stick to the library because I prefer only to buy a book when I know I want to reread it again. And so I usually only buy books in Korean, like indie published books, because I know I can't get them online or later or anywhere else. So those are usually the only books I purchase in physical form. And then this one is also another graphic novel, Impossible People by Julia Wirtz. I follow this illustrator on Instagram, and I saw she had her graphic novel come out, so wanted to check that out. I love the first one. The second one was a little slow, but the ending so exciting. I've heard that I am not super in like the Bookstagram world, so I haven't been spoiled for it yet, but I have heard everyone like hint at how the ending to the second book of Crescent City was just mind-blowing. So I'm excited. Love a good love and hate a good cliffhanger or like exciting plot twist. But yeah, I have to avoid spoilers. Sorry, I wish I had changed up my background paper. It's a little messy, but this is what my desk usually looks like. Oh, and Roaming is another. Roaming by Jillian and Mariko Tamaki. It's another graphic novel. I don't know if it's a graphic novel or like a comic, but it's, it's illustrated comic. I think these are all, yes, these are all in my holds. And then Mixed Signals I finished, so I'm going to add that to this pile up here. I can't really see it. All right, while we have the cutting tool out, I guess I'll keep snipping. I wish I had adjusted the margin so I could fit in another line on this page, but I think I was kind of exhausted by this point of copy and pasting the book covers into Canva. But yeah, I just thought this was very impromptu. I didn't set anything up, but I thought I would do this with you because it's something you can like talk through, but I don't think it's interesting enough to put in like a YouTube video, like the actual video. And this page is mostly, I went into the TBR, I went into the TBR section of my library app. Oh, dang, that was misaligned. And just sort of plucked some books that I thought I might get to eventually. So let's see what's here. And some of these I don't remember who recommended. Okay, the Hazelwood, my friend Sarah recommended to me. And Book of Night by Holly Black, my friend Julia recommended. Austin Kleon's books. I have Steal Like an Artist. I must have already printed that out. But I have that checked out, and I know a lot of people recommend his books. Don't remember where this recommendation came from. And then this I just think I randomly saw in like books that are popular right now. And I thought it looked interesting. But I keep saying I won't cut those up. We'll see. This was, I think, Cypher Ray recommended to me. And I think maybe Carrie Can Reads. I saw this in one of her videos. throwback sounds interesting. I'm going to get to it later. It's like a young adult, I guess, fantasy, sci-fi, but it's like about a Korean American girl and her mom, and I guess they don't get along or something. Like, she's a teenager. She doesn't understand her mom, but then she's like thrown back in time to the 90s when her mom was a teenager. I think it's like they're switching, what is it, Parent Trap? Not the Parent Trap. Freaky Friday type situation. So she gets to see like what life was like for her mom growing up in America in like the 90s. And then My Family and Other Animals, I saw this recommended on Twitter, I believe. I think it's a story of like a family who moves to a different country, an island or something somewhere, and like observations about life. And then All Creatures Great and Small was also a recommendation from one of you guys on my reading journal video, which I'm excited to read. But yeah, I'll just snip this in half because I think all of these are just on my TBR. I hope I get to them because I've printed out the covers, but I haven't checked any of them out yet. And then some of these are on hold. But it's going to be a while for most of them. Heaven recommended this Natural History of Dragons, and yes, these, I think, yeah, I don't have any of these checked out yet or borrowed. These will go in the hold section, and we are almost done, and then hopefully we can start a little journaling. Although I really didn't prep, so I have nothing prepped for the journal page. So it might just be a little bit of sketching only. But yeah, wishful thinking. I've already even printed out the third Crescent City book covers. I'm like, I'm hoping I like it. And Bride by Ali Hazelwood comes out soon, next month, I think. These are all, actually, no. Paladin's Grace, I would like to get to. My friend, I think Julia, said she liked it. But that's on the TBR. And then these two are on holds. And then The Partner Plot by Christina Forrest is another book I'm excited for. It comes out next month. I really love the first book in the series, The Neighbor Favor. It's like, I read it and then I immediately re-listened to it via audiobook because it was just so lovely and I wanted to stay in that world a little longer. And it just has all the tropes and elements that I love in a book, like epistolary romance, like they exchange emails without knowing really who the other person is. But then it turns out they are neighbors in real life, which is a very much a like You've Got Mail situation. Which is one of my favorite movies when I was younger. So I don't think any of these are on hold. So I put this in the TBRs. And I guess I'll keep these together and put them on, even though I don't have all of them on hold. Actually, no, wait. I think I have up to Assassin's Blade on hold. So these will be in the TBR. Hopefully I'll get to them. And then, no, actually, no. I have the 8 or whatever 9 book bundle on hold. So I guess I do have all of these on hold. I really hope this comes in soon. But the library says it's like a 3-4 week wait still. All right, so many books. This actually kind of makes it seem real. Like, look at all these books I have on hold. we'll put the ones that are kind of going to come in soon towards the front. These were ones that I had already printed from a while ago that I keep just saying deliver later, because the thing with reading from the library and having a long wait time is like maybe you were really in the mood for them back when you put them on hold, but by the time they get in, it's a little like, I have so many other books to read, and I just keep pushing deliver later. And then sometimes they just end up in the graveyard of books I never got around to, which is just like a timing thing, and it doesn't say anything about the book. It just, yeah, it's a timing thing. Like Emily Wilde, I was like, oh, that sounds interesting. But then when it finally came in at the end of last year, I think I was busy. I was getting ready to go to Canada, so it was not the right timing, but I'm very, very glad I did read it, because if I had skipped over it, then I would have missed out on that very delightful world. And I am saving these little margin pieces that I snipped, because this is sticker paper and photo quality sticker paper, and I might need to use them. I probably won't need to use them, but you never know when you'll need a little bit of white paper that you need to stick somewhere. So all of these little margin bits will not go to waste. Okay. Are we in frame? All right. Yay. All right. I don't need to be nervous, but I am. I want to do the books that I really enjoyed justice in my spread, but don't read too much into it. Don't think too much into it. It's kind of confusing, not confusing, but I need to be better about keeping track of this. Maybe I'll just set up a system. I need to set up a system where I have, like, for example, updating the yearly section of my journal will happen at the end of the month, because if I sometimes do them when I'm doing the spread and sometimes not. So I have to like go back and compare to my list to see what I've done and what I haven't like recorded in this section. And I've set aside the like color palette that I'm using in my journal. And this is not going to really show up on camera. This is a very light cream color, but I needed to color this in because I finished a third book about dragons this year already. And I guess I don't need this posted anymore because I have both of these books on hold. So yeah, technically I have already completed one of my goals for the year. But I intentionally set the bar pretty low and only made 3 flame sections. I was like, okay, don't want to pressure myself, and maybe I won't. Maybe I'll get tired of dragons by the time I've read 3 books. But haven't tired yet. And like I mentioned in my previous videos, the Fireborn series was excellent. So Fireborn, Flamefall, and Fury Song were so good. And then Dragonbound was very interesting. I have never read a book about shapeshifters before. And this was a book recommended on the Fate and Mates podcast, which is like a romance book podcast, and I like listening to it. So I checked it out. It was funny. It was interesting, but it was very there was a lot of smut, and I think it is smut because I'm not sure if all these scenes really advance the plot. I think they're just there to be there. So very steamy book, probably the steamiest book I've ever read. So I kind of glance through them towards the end. But interesting book. The world that is set up in this first book, because it's the first book in a series of the elder races, was pretty interesting. The main character, Dragos, is literally a dragon. It's not a book about dragon riders. Like, one of the main characters is a dragon who has formed in the beginning of time. Like, he's as old as the solar system. And yes. And there's like a whole world of like weirs or wires, W-Y-Rs, and elves and like griffins and harpies and witches. And so I think the rest of the series focuses on other character pairs of different creatures and shapeshifters. But yeah, I don't think I'll be continuing with the series, but the first book was pretty funny. Like the dialogue, they're just so ridiculous. But also some like cute moments as well. And I will update you. I guess I'll update this in the actual, hopefully I'll be doing a January wrap-up video, but one update is I sort of changed this TBR page to write down recommendations from people. So I put in parentheses like where I got the recommendation, because when I was looking through my TBR, I had a hard time remembering where I'd heard about most of these books. And so I would like to like attribute the person who recommended it if I end up reading it. So this TBR is more like a recommendations page. And that way it filled out a lot better. And I have a place where I can refer back to check who recommended the book. Because I don't think there's I guess maybe on Goodreads or Storygraph you can put in, I don't know if you can put a memo on books you want to read. But nothing. Oh, you're getting a sneak peek at a new spread, which also was cooler in my brain, but didn't turn out exactly as I had envisioned. And instead of learning my lesson, I'm going to try something similarly experimental with the next book. The cover of In the Weeds, or of this whole series, they have like a bouquet or something covering the faces of the two characters on the cover. And so I had been taking notes on this background paper as I listened to this on audio of like cute moments or things I wanted to remember. And so I just literally cut those out from this background paper and pasted them into this bouquet of flowers and like quotes, but it's just turned into a blob. It's just a blob. But that's fine. Mixed Signals, which is the third book in the series. I enjoyed the first two more than I did this book. I think, I don't know, what's the best way to say it? Like, I guess I just didn't get kicked with the characters as much, or I was kind of like, it wasn't as this world and her writing and like wasn't as new or to me anymore. So I didn't get as much out of it as I did with the first two. But it's still cute. It's a cute read. And the only quote I'd written, because I listened to this on audio too, was, "The simple joy of listening to another person inhabit the space around me," which I just thought was a lovely way of saying that. Mixed Signals, and she is a baker. She owns a cafe, so there's like a baked goods involved, which, let's see if I have. Maybe I'll just use these deco papers. I got these, ooh, yeah, strawberries. There's a lot of like references to strawberries, like little strawberries printed on her like apron, and also like making some kind of strawberry cake or tart or something. Maybe I'll just do that. Ooh, that looks good too. Ooh, fruit tart. I don't know how I feel about a fruit tart with like all that icing around it though. If I'm gonna have a fruit tart, I just want the fruit on top and like the cream cheesy kind of cake part underneath, and then the crust. I don't know if I want icing with a fruit tart. Yeah, Yeah, I think we'll go with strawberries. Ooh. Haven't looked at these in a while. Yeah, these are also yummy looking, but maybe just cut it in half. I've been thinking about the purpose of this like reading journal. And I know I started it because I wanted like a place to, like a creative outlet for each book that I read, like to express creatively. So it's not so much about the like writing a review or tracking stats or anything. But as I've been reading and like more and recording more about my reading, I'm finding some things that I want to keep track of. One is, I'll write this down because I forgot after I thought of this. One is published year, because the nature of social media and like that's how I get a lot of book recommendations is my reading skews more to just recent books that are published. And I'm pretty sure last year, yeah, I read a lot of books that were just recently published. And then another thing, so I want to keep track of published year to see if I'm only reading new stuff or like modern stuff, then make an effort to read more like classic books. And then the BIPOC authors one, I have a little tag on a Notion spreadsheet that I'm keeping to track books, but that's another like sort of, what's the word, indicator that I want to keep track of better. And I just want to practice writing reviews more, because writing reviews / ratings, I don't rate books. I don't think too deeply about like, yeah, it's hard to like decide, is this 3-star, 4-star? If I didn't finish the book, then I didn't like it. So that's one in like standard. And then if I had like a good time reading it, like it's a 5-star book for me. I don't know the difference between 4 and 5. I guess if I really love the book and I'm raving about it, or I want to tell people about it, that would be the 5-star, versus like a book that I enjoyed, but I don't think about after I finished it, that would be a 4-star. So then what makes a 3-star? Like what makes a book a 3-star? So I'm just, like I said, I have not planned at all for this. So I don't know. I haven't thought about how I want to set up this spread. Essie, hi, you made it. Yes, I tried putting on the live in the mornings. It's a Sunday morning, and I'm gonna head out soonish, but sorry, I guess I didn't actually do much journal spent most of the time snipping those papers. It takes a while to cut out all those little book covers. But yes, how do we want to set that up? Where did the book cover go? Oh. I don't know. Something like this. I'm going to take a picture of this to like and let it ferment, and maybe do some brainstorming for Fury Song, and then Dragonbound. Oh, I was thinking of changing to do 2-page spreads for some books, because some books I just have like here also the creative like blob took up most of the page, so I didn't have any space to write. So I am thinking I'll do mixed signals here because I don't have a lot to say, and it'd be nice to have the books in the series together. But yeah, for Fury Song, I was thinking of dedicating a 2-page spread, but I'm nervous because I want to do the book justice, which is silly. It's my journal. I don't need to put that pressure on myself. Michaela, I actually changed the way I do my book journal this year. I just got tired of rating and reviewing them. Now I just make the spreads if I really don't. That's smart. I don't need to do a spread for every book. Like if I finish the book, that means I enjoyed it enough to finish it. If not every book has to be memorialized in the journal. I need to, thank you for mentioning that. I need to like adopt that mindset, but it's not happening. Maybe I like usual, I just need to be less precious about the journal. I think it's just too much strawberry, but so I think I need to like make the spread and go, because we've got other books to write about or journal about and other books to read. Although I do like this process. Like I like just sitting at my desk covered in papers and stickers. The other thing is like this book cover is so tiny. Like the strawberries sort of take over the page, don't they? Maybe just do strawberries at the bottom and some kind of option. Looking through this, I hardly use this binder anymore. I don't really use memo sheets. Also, ironically, just yesterday I was thinking that I want to do less like scrapbooking type, like pasting in my journals, because they're already getting, like I can tell they're going to be really chunky, and I did want to do more like drawing this year, but I can't help it. I like to scrapbook. I love to paste things in. Yeah. Something like that. Maybe something with Post-its or memo sheets for mixed signals. I still don't know what I want to do for Fury. Oh, I remember thinking that I just wanted to do, like, not worry about making it symbolic of something in the book and just make it, try to do like a vintage style. There's nothing vintage about this book, but I am curious if I can pull off the like vintage paper, like ripped papers in the corners style. I don't know if I have the right items for it, but I was thinking of doing that for this book. I have lists of the ones I've read. Not every one of them gets spreads. It helps me not stress over the journaling process. Yes, very smart. Very smart. I do have an idea for Dragonbound, so I will start sketching that. And that was, sorry, I'm just going to look up a reference photo really quick on my phone. Which was just like let myself take up the whole page, and this whole story starts off because Pia, the female main character, this is not a spoiler, like it happens in the first couple of pages of the book. She steals something from the dragon, from Dragos, and that is a penny. So I was like, oh, maybe I'll like draw a penny. Now I'm feeling blank page anxiety where maybe this is too much. And maybe I'll just do a single page. And I'll put the cover over the penny in the corner. That way I don't have to draw Abe Lincoln's face in too much detail. Just see the back of his head here. So I don't know if you can see this. I'm writing Liberty there. Essie asks, do you tend to stick to one book at a time or go back and forth? Back and forth. I have too many books. Okay, almost minimum, I have one audiobook and one book that I'm reading. Actually, right now is, oh no, why is Abel getting, his hair has turned into like an ajuma perm. Yeah, usually I have an audiobook and a print book that I'm reading. Sometimes more than one print book or more than one audiobook. It might be like one nonfiction audiobook and one like fiction. But right now I'm only reading, because I don't have an audiobook right now, so I'm only reading Emily Wilde's Map of the Other Lands right now. And I don't have an audio. I don't have another book I'm reading right now. I think up to 2 books at a time is like sustainable or okay, but I think it's just because I always have so many books checked out at once, and if I kind of get bored of one book, I'll just skip over or start another book. So the penny is shaped like this because I'm like thinking perspective. But let's say that's his head. It's fine. It's going to be covered by the book. This is his beard and his nose and his eyes and his hair and his jacket. And then I forget, it's like 1963 or something. But yeah. And then we'll put the book cover there, here. We'll cover his face. Yeah, that's fine. I was thinking not to outline the pennies, but because this is like supposed to be background art, so I guess I'll just go in and put the color pencils. Copper. how does one make copper color? Like brown and orange and gold? I'll go with that. And just lightly erase this. Maybe I'll do an outline of it in brown. Let me see that on screen, and then color in the rest in sort of like a gold orange color. Yeah, like I said in the beginning, Dragonbound, interesting. Yeah, never read a shapeshifter book before. But I was intrigued from the beginning. I haven't read a lot of high fantasy, and this isn't high fantasy because it's set in the modern world. Or maybe, yeah, I don't think this counts as like high fantasy, but I haven't read a lot of books yet with like very intricate, like complex magical worlds and like systems. And I was intrigued by the ecosystem of magical beings in this book. So, like I said, Dragos, the Kulabre is the main male character, and he is a dragon formed with the beginning of the solar system. And he like evolves with the world. Like he sees humans appear on the planet, and he obviously kind of like a Twilight Edward Cullen situation where he becomes massively wealthy, because when you just have the advantage of compounding wealth over time, you can build a whole empire. By the time it's like modern day. So he's like not hundreds of years old, he's thousands of years old. And he's a shapeshifter, so it seems like he spends most of his time in his human form, and then occasionally like shifts into a dragon when he needs to like fly really quickly to get somewhere, or blow off some steam, or fight other creatures. And what else was there in this series? There was like light and dark fae, and there's elves. And it was interesting because it's like, yeah, I guess it's not technically high fantasy, so it's set in the modern world, but there's like these elder races that have existed with humanity, and they're recognized. They're not in hiding. It's people know about them. Like people know that like dragons exist and witches exist. They're cordoned off into different sections, like the magic sector. So like this takes place in New York City, and there's like a witch that she like operates out of like her shop in like the magic sector or something. So the magic is controlled or like regulated, or magical beings are, I guess, in a sense. But and they have, the different magical beings have like different neighborhoods or like areas they live in, I guess worldwide, but also in the country. So the Weirs, like Dragos is head of the Weirs, and there's like his own set of like rules and stuff for that. They're in like the New York City area, and then the elves are down in like the Carolinas, and the dark fae are like in Chicago and stuff. So that was kind of fun. So that's one penny. We'll do some more. I'll like go over it more later. But then I guess I don't need to go too much in depth with the face for, although I kind of want to like challenge myself and see if I can kind of draw the Penny's face. Seems a shame to cover it up. No, yes. But the book cover doesn't really look good anywhere else. Like it looks best in the corner. Yeah. We can practice drawing in other places in my... Oh, the reason why the penny date is also significant is because Pia, the female main character, steals a penny from the dragon's like hoard, but she like feels bad about it. She doesn't want to do it. She's being blackmailed to do this, so she leaves another penny in its place. But he notices what it's got, and he's furious because she took like a 1963 penny, and she left a 1975 penny. He's like, you, and he like points that out to her. And she's like, really? You have like mountains and mountains of treasure in your lair, and you care about the fact that I replaced the wrong penny? Yeah, the book is kind of like that. There's like a lot of just like silly moments like that made me chuckle, but also they're like very like suddenly very like steamy scenes, and I'm like, whoa, where'd that come from? So okay, so he discovered the thief had taken a U.S. minted 1962 copper penny from a jar of coins he had not yet bothered to put into a coin collecting book, which also made me laugh. I'm like, this is like a powerful, like one of the most powerful beings in the universe, but he also like organizes coins into a coin collecting book. Okay, you took a 1962 penny. You left a 1975 penny. It's no replacement. So we can pretend this is the 1975 penny, and here's the 1962 penny. Someone, I don't know if you're still watching, but Michaela, what kind of journal spreads do you do in your book journal? I want, like I said, I started this because I was like, oh, I want to do like more creative journaling and read my books. But sometimes, like for mixed signals, where I find myself like putting too much pressure on myself, I wish I could just be free and let myself just do like book cover, a synopsis, or like a quote or something. Like just like make it simple. It doesn't. Not every page has to be so like experimental. So hopefully, as time goes on and I keep adding books to this, I'll let myself just sometimes make like a very simple book cover and a synopsis, or book cover and a quote, and put a couple pieces of washi at the top and bottom to make it look pretty, and then not be so like feel so much pressure to make everything so experimental and like creative looking, because it can be kind of like a lot. But at the same time, that's the purpose of this journal, is like for me to like just scribble in my notebook. Anything in terms of like stats or like what I thought about it. I don't really write reviews, but any notes I've taken are in my Notion, and then stats are in Storygraph. I don't want to cover him up. I was going to cover him up, but I don't. So we're going to go back to trying to draw. Draw him. His hair is not as like coiffed, actually. I didn't mean to make it so coiffed. Maybe I should cover it up. That's not looking so good. It's also quite long. To be honest, I use what I have in my collection for spreads, like washi, scrap paper, and stickers. I might break the or fan art if I feel like it. Yeah, that's good. This was like another reason I like this is because it's a chance to like use up my stationery. Printing fan art is good. I did think about that. I was like, I did see in some other people's book spreads, they do like sort of collages with images from Pinterest, which would probably make a more aesthetic looking page, but it also is more work. So far I've been sticking to the same thing, like, yeah, using my collection. I just need to let go of like this urge to make everything like symbolic, both in this journal and my daily doodling journal. Like, I don't want to start another journal per se, but maybe I'll break out my 6-ring notebooks again. But I kind of miss having a place where I can just collage or like decorate without it having to be meaningful, without it having to be either about a book or about my day. And it's just like pretty pictures and pretty papers pasted together. Dragon Bound. Let's see. I think I was thinking some kind of washi. Oh, I remember. I learned is I want to make sure to write the title, even though this title is pretty apparent. Okay, I'm leaving. I'm gonna, even though it doesn't actually look anything like Abe Lincoln, I'm gonna leave him there. I don't want to cover. Oh, you can't see the full page. Would that look better or that? I mean, regardless, the title needs to go somewhere. Dragon Bound. Ooh, these letters aren't gonna all fit. Dragon. I got a dot grid so I could, like, I should use these dots to as guides for writing straight, but no. I guess I like to color outside the lines. Okay. Bound should go over a little to the left too. Okay, Dragon Bound. I have a K-pop journal where I collage scrapbook when I want to, like, it's not specifically for K-pop. Yeah, I think I'm going to use my 6-ring binder again for that kind of journaling. Although I have these are my, actually I just recently emptied it. This is empty right now because I just took out the spreads up until 2023. But I have this A5 size 6-ring binder that I could do that for collage and scrapbooking. And I have some really pretty pages, like inserts. And I never did a spread or anything for my trip to the Godiva pop-up. And then I have my BTS. Is this BTS? Yeah. Oh, but in the beginning it wasn't BTS. In the beginning it was like Happy Mail and like, gosh, I got this in 2019. This was like journaling before I got into other journals, but then, yeah, Happy Mail. But then in 2022, I guess I started BTS journaling in here. Yeah, and there's no like story. It's not commemorating like, oh, a specific event or an album or a song. It's just like, I mean, it was really honestly just a way to use up some album pages. Yeah, maybe I'll use that journal again for both BTS spreads and like this kind of like just everyday using up stickers spreads. Okay, gonna do it, guys. Not gonna be precious about like categorizing all these different journals into specific functions. Oh, I say don't cover them, but do what feels good to you. My main motivation for journaling this year, besides memory keeping, is to use up my stuff since I tend to collect more stationery. Yes, feel you. I am right there with you. Oh, maybe I'll go here. Yeah. That's one reason why having a format would be nice, because you don't have to think about where you'll put the cover and where you'll put the writing. Cozy Gray Library on Instagram was the person whose journals I saw when I like Googled or whatever, searched for book journaling on Instagram. She's like high up on the algorithm, and she has a very clear like book cover, title, a little box with like ratings and publisher and that kind of basic information, and then summary, and then quote. And it's like, it looks nice. She has a lot of cool papers, deco papers. So the pages are colorful and you don't have to think about like what you're going to do with it. So maybe I will allow myself to do sort of like a format for some books that where I don't feel inspired to make like a more ambitious spread. But thank you, Essie, for the for your comment. Yeah, I'm not gonna cover him. There you go. And I guess the Dragon Bound is written in blue, but we're just gonna go over in black. And I don't know why I made that A curvy. The A is very pointy in the actual font. But the font is also a lot rounder. Dragon Bound. Does anybody listen to any book podcasts or podcasts in general? I was like, since I don't have an audiobook right now and I'm so used to listening to something while I clean or do other chores, especially the dishes, I was like, oh, my ears feel empty. Probably is a bad sign. Sorry if the camera is shaking because this eraser is making the desk shake, but probably is a sign that I need to work on like being present in the moment and not having to be distracted all the time when I'm doing things I don't want to be doing. But so I was like, oh, maybe I should like look into podcasts. The only two podcasts that I listen to regularly are the Fated Maids podcast, which is about romance books, and then I listen to the New Heights podcast, which is the Kelsey brothers. They talk about football and NFL, and I'm going to be sad when the season's over because there's no more games to look forward to. We'll see how long the NFL like phase lasts. I kind of feel tempted to put a little background paper behind. Oh, wait. I don't know where I put it, but I had some, as I was doing this spread, I would wipe off the gold paint on a scrap piece of paper. So I have a scrap piece of paper with like gold and bronze on it. I don't know where I put it. But I think I might say goodbye here. We didn't do much together, but thank you for keeping me company as I snipped all these book covers. And I will probably finish up these spreads today and hopefully this week be able to upload like a January reading wrap-up video. Or maybe like a vloggy type video. I haven't decided, but oh, not within your interests. I don't know if you're just in medical stuff, but I love this podcast Will Kill You. They also make quarantinis for every topic, which is just fun. Glad to be I'm glad you were able to catch this live. Yeah, I think I'll try to switch it up between mornings on the weekends in Korea and then evenings on the weekdays in Korea. That way that some people where if it's not convenient for evening time KST, then I can try to catch you in my morning time. But this podcast will kill you. I will thank you for, oh, you can't see, I'm making a memo. To check it out. I do like, there's the Andrew Huberman podcast that I don't listen to the actual podcast because it's like 2-3 hours long, but I catch like snippets of it on Twitter. So I feel like I should listen to podcasts about health, medical stuff. Yeah, we'll look into that. Thank you for the recommendation. And thanks for tuning in, everyone. I will see you guys somewhere on the internet, Instagram or YouTube. And yeah, have a good night, a good day. Hello, Print Friends is one interviewing printmakers. Ooh. Interesting. Thank you. Oh, that reminds me. I used to listen to the Andy's podcast about creative. I forget what it's called. Andy J Pizza. He had a creative, like, creators podcast. I should look that up again. But thank you for the Rex, Essie and Michaela. It was good to talk to you guys. Thanks for keeping me company. Say hello on Instagram or on YouTube, and I will see you guys later. Have a wonderful day or evening. Goodbye. Bye-bye.